we're gonna do one more non-LOM video. We're gonna do one more react. I used to watch Chibi a lot back in the day. When I used to keep up with a lot of anime, I remember watching a lot of Chibi reviews. It was pretty cool. I always follow him. I recently stopped following him since he keeps up with a lot of anime I'm currently backlogged on. I know usually sometimes spoilers have like unintentional spoilers, intentional or unintentional, like whatever be the case. So I usually try to not follow too many people just so I don't get spoiled, you know, indirectly or directly. So let's check it out. And just, I read this and I'm like, no shot. No shot they thought it was mid.
It was mid, according to Japanese audience. That is a bold statement to make.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy overseas. Well, overseas,
so
right?
when you click on the article and you go to the headline, it says, no different from any other anime. Solo Leveling producer.
No shot.
On Japan's mid reception to the worldwide
Does he have a free rent PC? What is that? That's so sick.
Phenomenon.
Damn, man. I remember watching this. I remember watching a video of him when he like moved into this place. Like he built. I'm telling you, I've been watching Chibi for a long time. Or I started watching Chibi like way back in the day. I think he built this house himself. I think. I'm pretty sure.
When a producer of the series is saying this, that's...
I met the producer, by the way. I met the producer of Lord of the Mysteries. Okay, hold up. Let me walk it back. I didn't speak to him, but I went to the Solo Leveling world premiere. It took a while to get there, but we made it. I know. Hey, I'm just bragging a little bit. I made it out. We drove through the wind and valleys to get to that world premiere, but we made it. Yeah, and that's where I got to speak. That's where I got to speak to Rogers Base. I spoke to Rogers Base at the Solo Leveling world premiere. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty humbling. It was pretty humbling. I just love it. Just love it. Love it.
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of crazy.
When he's not gonna lie, it's a little bit crazy, but this is actually wild.
It's actually crazy, but this is not where the story begins and ends. We also got to talk about the situation that the action director Yoshihiro Kano even commented alongside of Atsushi Kaneko about the reception in Japan. So it's not just the producer that said this, but also the action director alongside, pretty much.
Oh, this is being made by A1 Studios, right? I know this is the people that made SAO Season 3.
Commenting on it.
I like that one. The underworld arc was pretty cool. It was like 50-something episodes or something like that.
The overall performance in Japan is pretty mid, or in this case, it's not really doing anything above average. So what's going on here? Because obviously, everyone that's a part of the anime and manga community has probably heard time and time again, especially in these last few months, that Solo Leveling is the most popular anime, at least in 2020.
You know what? That's crazy. I'm not trying to brag. When I was in Japan during Season 2's premiere, there was not that many figures. Like, I was... Man, it's hard doing this inverted. I was shocked to find this figure in Akihabara. This was literally the only freaking Jiwoo figure I found when I was in Akihabara. I'll die on this hill. On an arc of SEO, low-key bang. Bro, it ain't a low-key banger. It was literally goated. Everything that people that disliked of SAO was taken out, put into the Underworld arc, Season 3, and it was completely redone, and they literally took out everything people didn't like. Hey, but you know what? You can call me a show. I like SAO Season 1 and 2. All right, it was like one of my introductions to anime like a decade ago. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like, there was barely any merch on Solo Leveling in Japan. Figures, like anything. The shit that there was a lot of was what his PC is, free rent. There was so much free rent merch. That's where I also got this one. Like, there's so much free rent merch, dude. But, like, there's barely anything on Solo Leveling, so I guess that kind of makes sense, right? At least on its quote-unquote mid-reception.
Series on Crunchyroll of all time.
That's crazy.
And swept the Anime Awards, and to go even further.
That arc was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. The one after that, the Rosario arc was pretty good. That one had me crying.
In the last decade. So when you factor all this in, 100%. It's just like, why does Japan not like Solo Leveling? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, but we got to start from the very beginning. And that is the fact that Solo Leveling has content within it that is...
Just side story, this was even before I made my YouTube account. When I caught up with... I don't think this is TMI. I caught up with Solo Leveling when I was in the bathroom, dude. That's I got so into solo leveling, I kept reading, dude. And it's like 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, it's nighttime already. I'm like, oh, my legs are a little numb. I'm like, oh shit. I'm still in the bathroom. The lights weren't even on in the bathroom, dude. It was like broad daylight. 2 hours passed. Truly the Lord of Bathrooms. It was crazy, dude. I was like, oh shit, it's nighttime. I gotta get ready for bed. It was the most craziest, most humbling experience. And I caught up like very early on in season 1 of SEO. It was like I think when he went into like one of the first red gates, when he runs into the elves in season 1.
Anti-Japan.
Or at the beginning of season 2, my bad.
It is.
Season 2 of the anime.
And also getting into a little bit more controversial
TMI. I apologize.
Topic.
Actually, it wasn't TMI. I didn't get that deep into it.
It is a Korean webcomic, and I'm not going to dive too deep into that one. But the point is that Solo Leveling's writing in general has anti-Japan stuff within it. And
that is true. I remember when I was reading it, people were like, it's never going to get an anime because it's so like anti-Japan. Like they even purposely say like we hate Japan, and they make Japan the bad guys in the island arc. So I remember a lot of times we were like, it's not getting an anime. Like people were shocked when A1 announced it.
Obviously that will not sit right with the Japanese audience, and
I remember
so because of that,
I remember seeing that conversation a lot back then.
Have an uphill battle to try to win over the Japanese audience
I'm
to get into Solo Leveling, which is why the global audience is enjoying Solo Leveling more, because obviously it's not really anti anything else. It's mainly just anti-Japan in some segments of the story. But getting back into the point, when Solo Leveling Season 1 came out...
That makes sense.
It did not do so well in Japan. For those that are unaware, the actual...
I heard the Blu-rays didn't even sell, by the way.
BD DVD sales in Japan was like below 630.
That's crazy. And free rent. Blockbusters.
Actual sales. That's low. Like, that's really freaking low. I remember making a video talking about it. I remember other people talking about it.
And it's crazy how Japan still relies on Blu-ray sales, man.
Than just BD, DVD
it's wild.
There's merchandise. There is, streaming. I like streaming, how many people watch.
I hope my mic is okay. I don't think it's spiking too much, right?
Viewership. There's a lot more that factors into global success. But in general, from the very beginning, Japan has not liked Solo Leveling. It has been very apparent from the very beginning. So the reaction to Solo Leveling
we can switch to PC for a little bit.
Is not that surprising for those that have been aware of the situation since the very beginning. However, those that dived into Solo Leveling rather recently, or just has been watching the anime and just stays out of community discussion or anything like that, this is going to come as quite the shock for a lot of people, especially with just how much effort was clearly put into Solo Leveling Season 2. So with the foundation of the entire topic...
Just a little switch up. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, hold up. Now it feels weird because you guys can't see the text. I should probably switch back. I should probably switch back just because the text is kind of hard to read. Or your guys' messages. But it's crazy, dude. Like, how much work went into, like... I mean, it's pretty noticeable in Season 2. Like, how much they upped it. Like, the fights, bro, were crazy against the Monarchs.
A producer
or at least the one Monarch fight we got.
Series disappointing reception in Japan when compared to its massive international
That's sad, dude.
Audience.
And then Season 3 isn't out for like another year or more.
Anime of the Year for Crunchyroll 2025 Anime Awards, in addition to numerous other awards.
Yo, what's up?
Atsushi Kaneko, the animation producer.
That's the guy I met. I saw that guy. I saw the VA, Alex Lee. I saw a lot of people. I saw the Anime Man. I saw a couple people over there. It was pretty sick.
Solo Leveling was interviewed by the Anime Effect podcast through Crunchyroll.
They have a podcast? The Anime Effect?
Alongside action director Yoshihiro Kano. The interview, which took place...
It's shocking. I'm not even lying, D. It is shocking the amount of people I have run into. And I find it very humbling. And I know not everybody, I get it. Like, you meet someone in life and you don't know their whole backstory per se online, so be it good or bad. But I find it crazy, like, the amount of, like, high-profile people I've run into. It's shocking. Especially, like, in anime and the game industries. And I feel like a lot of that also just comes from, like, going to Anime Expo. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, and I'm not just talking about people you run into panels. Like, I'm talking, like, people you run into, like, in the exhibit hall or artist alleys. And, like, you have, like, a very brief conversation with them, you know? Like, outside of the panels. It's pretty cool.
At CCXP Mexico 25.
Or, like, the amount of... I saw Mork Pie, and I came out behind her stream. I was like, I'm gonna walk away. I don't. It's like, I'm a little subconscious. Like, there's like 20,000 people watching. I'm gonna walk away from right here. Or like, I saw a few other like female streamers. Oh, this is pretty cool.
At Centro Banamex in Mexico City, Mexico, discussed the production of Soul Leveling Season 2.
Okay.
And when fans can expect an official announcement for Season 3. However, the most fascinating aspect of the interview,
it's not gonna be out for like over a year, bro,
was the anime staff's
I think they said
reaction
2027
to the series' incredible global impact.
Oh, it's like a year and a
compared
half.
to the above average response.
Imagine we see Easy and just in the background of her. You know what? You probably will see me in a lot of random high profile streams. I think I said hello to I said hello to Tectone, Amaru, Lily Pichu, a few directors, and not all of them are streaming. Like Skara wasn't streaming. Skara and Peter, they weren't streaming. They were just talking. And I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. Clearly they don't remember me, right? Like I was just like one random fan out of like the hundreds they meet. I know, I just love it. You know, it's cool because I get to share this with people. I never get to tell people this, yeah.
From Japan. That's a big significant one, above average. We'll talk about more of that in a second.
Above average?
Soul Leveling's massive international success hasn't translated domestically in Japan.
That's the sad part.
The way the Soul Leveling anime was received in Japan was no different from any other anime, Kaneko said. So when we learned how the series exceptionally blew up in popularity for our global Soul Leveling fans, honestly
they ate it up.
This difference in reaction was very unexpected.
Love it,
it's not
dude.
exactly a temporary hype, but I do wonder who reacts more to the episodes first between the Japanese and global fans.
I feel like it's global fans.
Although Soul Leveling's anime adaptation has unmistakably
especially you see the Crunchyroll views, literally, I think that just tells you. I'm losing my voice.
Korean webcomic into a gigantic global franchise, its domestic reception in Japan hasn't been able to match up. In April 2024, the Japanese home media sales for Soul Leveling was revealed. Season 1 Blu-ray sales for the worldwide phenomenon were too low to be published. However, based on the lowest performer on the list, it's estimated that Soul Leveling sales were lower than 634 units during its first week.
Oh, it's the first week. In contrast, Girls on Pantsu, what the fuck? They sold 32,000?
Week. In contrast, Girls in Pantsu sold for 2,614 copies during the week of March 25th to March 31st.
I'm pretty sure if Solo Leveling wasn't doing good overseas, I don't think we're gonna get a season 3. But the fact that it's so popular overseas, I think that's what guaranteed the season, the next season, you know?
2024.
That's crazy. Well, at least in all the extra revenue they make when it's overseas or overseas merch, I assume.
Difference of copies sold, 32,600 or lower than 630. So it's very clear, as I said at the beginning of the video, Soul Leveling has never done pretty good domestically in Japan. I mean, there's a bunch of articles and stuff that's talked about this over the years when this came out.
That's
but
sad.
The point of the matter is that from the very beginning, it's been a tough sell in Japan.
That breaks my heart. I'm not gonna lie.
It's never been a series that's been marketed towards Japan,
and it was my first manga
marketed towards the West.
So I have a soft spot for this series. I love it,
especially with just the overall global phenomenon that Soul Leveling has become as of late.
Yeah.
As we continue,
I just didn't like how all the extra stuff they cut out.
The article
or all the side content that was cut out.
Reception at home, the Soul Leveling anime TV series continues to expand its international reach, especially with fans in North America.
Yeah.
Soul Leveling's impressive winning streak at the 2025 Anime Awards, as voted by fans, is a prime example of the series' strong engagement with international fans.
I think Romero left because I know Romero doesn't like Soul Leveling. I think he's gone.
As of March
I think he's gone.
Soul Leveling is available, yada yada yada. Okay, it just talks about the synopsis. So let's get back into the meat and potatoes of this discussion.
Tell me the meat and potato
more or less,
that's crazy. I haven't watched a Chibi video in a good while. It's been a good while since I've watched Chibi.
And it's basically performing just like any typical anime would. And so that's why they're more or less shocked. It's
I don't think it's junk food plastic genre.
When Soul Leveling is more or less just your run-of-the-mill anime that we produce. And I think more or less this is is corpo speak, but also
I'll check it out. I'll check it out right now, dude.
I think in general,
oh hell yeah,
it's very
we'll watch
clear
that.
they have never tried to push it domestically in Japan.
That might be another video, depending on how long it is. Oh, username. Source for username?
There, because I don't live
Need and watch if you want to see the level of animation. Bet. All right, we'll check it out.
In Japan, but it's always been a market.
Thank you,
West.
Thank you for backing me up.
Very obvious with how
I have a
much
soft spot.
has pushed it and kind of funded the project as well. So yeah, I mean, in general, like I said, I'm not too shocked.
There you go.
But at the same time, here it is. So yeah, Japan doesn't like solo leveling, or at the very least, they don't care too much about it.
You know why it probably did really good overseas? I always kind of solo leveling always reminded me a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. I'm not saying solo leveling is Dragon Ball Z or like this is better than, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like I like the premise of how like the MC would beat a character, he gets stronger, fights a new stronger opponent, he gets stronger, fights a new opponent, he gets I like that premise. Like you can call it a trope, call it whatever you want. Just I like the premise of how a character just keeps getting stronger, fighting stronger characters. And then towards the end, it really got into some pretty crazy world building. It got into some pretty cool lore. And that's what ended up hooking me more. And I think for overseas audience, I think they love that. You guys have been telling me to read Cultivation. Or check out Cultivation.
They don't get it. They don't.
Yeah, you guys have been telling me I like it.
They probably think it's just like, why is this so hype? They probably think we're weirdos for that.
We're weirdos.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that though.
Mushoku Tensei shouldn't exist.
Thoughts in the comments below. I love you guys. Be safe. Stay healthy.
I never finished Mushoku. All right, that was a fun video. I liked it. That was my first time watching Chibi in a cool minute. Just because so much anime for me is backlogged that I try and like avoid YouTube reacts just for spoiler's sake, just so I'm safe, or like I try and stay away from like thumbnails just in case, just so I can be safe. I put some spoilers in my thumbnails now, at least for how deep I am into the web novel, so I do apologize for that. But we're gonna leave it there. If you guys like what you see and you want to see more, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace. Have a good day. Later, guys. Sorry the audio spike right there. I apologize.